All right, everybody, welcome back. I'm so excited for this deep dive. We're tackling a big one. Motivation.
It's a topic everyone struggles with at some point. But that's what we're here for.
Right. We're diving deep into the idea of self-determination. We'll be using some awesome work from psychologist Teru Nakashima.
He has some truly fascinating insights into how we can get ourselves moving, how we can get motivated.
Exactly. And it's not just about, setting goals. It's about understanding the why behind those goals and how that can seriously boost your motivation.
It all starts with understanding where our control lies.
Okay, so let's paint a picture. I'm feeling swamped. I have deadlines piling up, family stuff, chores, the usual.
We've all been there. It's that feeling of just being stuck.
Totally. So according to Nakashima, where do I even start? How do I break free from that feeling of being overwhelmed?
He recommends something really simple, actually. It's almost deceptively simple.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Grab a pen and paper, literally write down every single problem that's weighing on you. Just get it all out.
Like a brain dump.
Exactly. And then here's the key. For each problem, ask yourself, who or what could potentially help me with this? It could be a person, a resource, a change in approach, anything.
I see. So it's not about instantly solving everything. It's about identifying potential paths forward.
Right. And what's interesting is that this exercise often reveals that many of our stressors are actually outside of our immediate control.
Which sounds counterintuitive, right?
Yeah.
Because listing out all your problems usually makes you feel more overwhelmed.
You'd think so. But what Nakashima found is that by acknowledging what's outside of your control, you also start to see more clearly where you do have power to act.
It's like shining a light on those areas where you can actually make a difference.
And that's where self-determination comes in. By focusing on those areas where you have agency, you shift from feeling helpless to feeling empowered.
So it's not just about knowing you have choices. It's about actively making them. Right?
Yes. That's where the motivation comes in. When you make a conscious decision, even a small one, within your sphere of control, it triggers a sense of ownership and excitement. You're not just reacting, you're driving.
I get it. It's like the difference between dragging yourself to the gym because you feel like you should versus going for a hike because you genuinely enjoy it.
Perfect example. One is driven by external pressure, the other by what we call intrinsic motivation, that internal drive that comes from aligning your actions with your values and interests. And this is actually at the heart of self-determination theory.
Which, for our listeners who haven't heard of it, is this really influential framework in psychology.
Exactly. And it essentially says that we thrive when we feel autonomous, competent, and connected to others. When we act on our own volition, driven by things we care about, not just external pressures.
That totally resonates. But I can already hear some pushback like, sure, it's great to be intrinsically motivated, but sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. How does Nakashima address that unavoidable external pressure we all face?
He acknowledges that external pressures are part of life. We all have bills to pay, deadlines to meet, obligations we can't just ignore.
Right. It's not always sunshine and rainbows.
Exactly. But what he emphasizes is that even within those constraints, there are often little choices we can make, small adjustments to our mindset or approach that can tap into our intrinsic motivation.
So even if you have to do something, you still have some control over how you do it.
Exactly. And that's crucial. It could be as simple as choosing to break down a daunting task into smaller, more manageable steps.
Or finding a way to connect a mundane task to a bigger personal goal.
Exactly. Or even just shifting your perspective on the task. Instead of seeing it as a chore, try to find an aspect of it that you genuinely enjoy.
I love that. So it's all about reclaiming that sense of agency, those small I decided moments, even in situations that feel like they're dictated by external factors.
And that shift in perspective can be so powerful because when you're intrinsically motivated, you're more likely to persevere even when things get tough.
It's like you're running on a different kind of fuel. And that brings us to another important point. How does self-determination impact how we deal with setbacks and failures?
It's huge. When you're driven by intrinsic motivation, setbacks become less about personal defeat and more about opportunities for learning and growth.
Makes sense. If you're doing something solely for external validation and it doesn't work out, it's easy to feel like you failed as a person.
Exactly. But if you're genuinely passionate about something, a setback doesn't extinguish that passion. It might sting, but it also becomes a chance to analyze what happened, adjust your approach, and try again. And that's where resilience comes from.
It's that fall 7 times, stand up 8 mentality.
Precisely. And that resilience is so crucial for navigating life's inevitable ups and downs.
So at its core, Self-determination is about recognizing that while we can't control everything that happens to us, we control how we respond.
Yes, it's about taking ownership of your choices, even in the face of challenges. It's about finding those pockets of agency, no matter how small, and using them to fuel your motivation.
This has been so insightful. I feel like I have a whole new toolkit for tackling motivation slumps.
That's fantastic to hear. And it all starts with a simple question. What small decision can you make today to tap into that self-determination? What step, however tiny, can you take to reignite your motivation?
I love that. So everyone listening, take a moment to ponder that question. What small choice can you make right now to reclaim your agency and spark that internal drive? It could be something related to work, a personal project, a relationship, anything.
Because those small choices often have a ripple effect. They can lead to bigger changes, new perspectives, and a renewed sense of purpose.
And who knows, maybe those small steps will eventually lead you to catch that elusive butterfly of motivation. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Remember, the power to shift your perspective, to fuel your motivation, lies within you.
Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.
Bye, everyone.
Bye!